First of all, thank you very much to the UK Garrison and the Rebel Legion for the escort.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome stuff. So just to start with, my name's Alex. I'm sort of UK fan lead on sales over here, and I'm super excited to be here. But more excited to introduce our friends from the US. We've got Patrick and Sam.
Hey guys, how's it going? Glad to be here. Yeah.
I've heard rumors of London Comic Con.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the rumors you've heard, Sam?
That it's like just as big as San Diego.
It is. It is pretty
It
good.
does. This is super impressive. I've been absolutely in love with what I've been seeing today.
That's awesome. It's good to hear.
And yeah, no, it's awesome to have you guys here as well. I have to say, Patrick, you've aged horribly in a year since that.
That is a picture of my son. My wife put him in a Chewbacca outfit right before I left, so had to get him up on the screen and kind of shield him out, so that's good. Fantastic. Alrighty, should we dive into it?
I think we should crack on.
Fantastic, alrighty. So first thing we're going to do is talk about some of the convention exclusives that we have for sale, and also some of them are available for raffle and signed by Sam. So Sam, you want to tell us about this one?
I would love to, and I'm going to kind of blindly recall. Oh, it's the repack. All right, so this was an awesome item to bring to the vintage collection. Ultimately, it offered 3 versions of Luke kind of tethered throughout the saga, which was great, really aligned perfectly to kind of the completion of the Skywalker saga with episode 9 approaching. But we have Luke in his Yavin flight suit, kind of representing A New Hope. We have Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise, which also from A New Hope. And then lastly, we have sort of the Jabba's Palace version of Luke Skywalker.
I mean, they look awesome. Is this the first time we've seen them in vintage? Or?
So there's a couple of new elements here. Luke on the kind of his pilot hardback, this is the first time we're seeing him in the vintage collection. Stormtrooper Luke was the first time being as a part of that line. And then Jedi Luke has actually had a couple different...
Quite a history.
Oh,
yeah.
It's been a slew of mistakes, but we're thrilled to finally get the right one out, the right accessories, and finally the right robes. So it's good, a good piece.
Fantastic. And this one is not available for sale here, but we do have a few samples that Sam, again, our lead designer for the Star Wars fan business, will be signing in the booth throughout the weekend, and I believe the team will be raffling them off. So a chance to get this item.
Wow.
Absolutely. Alrighty, moving on. Our next item.
So next up, this is truly my personal favorite.
They're all your personal
item.
favorites,
They're all
aren't they?
so I'll have that going throughout the day today. But this is Boba Fett on the original 1979 hardback. So what this ends up representing is the 40th anniversary of the character Boba Fett. Boba Fett, before the release of Empire Strikes Back, actually came out on his own Star Wars double bar hardback. And we're able to sort of pay homage to that 40 years later. So 6-inch version of this figure actually released in the original Kenner colors, sort of been updated stylistically, so it still feels like it aligns to the Black Series, but we really love this collaboration with Lucasfilm where we were able to sort of bring this in and have this great representation of the character.
Absolutely, and this one is available for sale. You can see it up on the screen here at our retail partners, and only available at conventions. You can't find this item in brick and mortar stores, so if you like the looks of it, check it out. Next up,
So big newness.
Cool looking new trooper.
This summer we had the release of the Sith Trooper. So this was awesome. This was a design we were working on for a while at Lucasfilm. We really had no idea how it was going to be infused into the film, and it wasn't until we actually kind of came to those final stages of the package where I actually start to see kind of the story elements and even get a name for it. So seeing the new insignia on the package itself and associating it as being the Sith Trooper definitely led to a bit of speculation within the office in terms of what that truly meant. The figure itself is gorgeous. It's an all-new trooper design. Definitely borrows a lot of inspiration from sort of the natural evolution of the First Order trooper, but then it infuses all these great elements that we've sort of seen throughout the universe. Feels very familiar to the progression of like a Phase 1 to a Phase 2 clone. What we've been able to do here is really armor this out with all these great accessories that we've seen sort of brought throughout concept art and ultimately how they'll appear in the film. So great 5 accessories for the figure itself. Yeah.
And he looks awesome.
Absolutely. Nice red design. Cool. So these 3 items are all available for signing by Sam, our lead designer in the booth, so come on down and check it out. Our final convention exclusive, this one is close to my heart. So this one is also available for sales. This is an EU launch convention exclusive. So you all are able to buy this today. No one in the US can get this. This is something we've done the past few years because we've kind of woken to the fact we should have done it sooner, that we have fantastic, passionate fans here in the UK, here in Europe, absolutely. So this is a little something special. If you like the looks of this, this is a Luke Skywalker Strikes convention exclusive. We've got Luke Skywalker in that outfit, his Yavin ceremony outfit. Apparently, he doesn't have time to change after that ceremony. He just charges into, I guess, months of adventures without changing his clothes in true Star Wars fashion, so super clean. But basically wears this outfit in all of the comic book adventures. So this item is a comic book dedicated item with that comic book inspired packaging and comic exclusive accessories, including Jedi journals, blast shield helmet, the training droid, all of which are actually different from the F4 version. So really cool item available here. Again, if you like the looks of it, check it out and get it. Alrighty, so those are our convention exclusives. Next up, if you're a Star Wars fan, and I know you are because you're here, you know that the new trailer for Episode 9 dropped earlier this week. We are gratuitously playing it in all of our panels just because it's so amazing. So we're going to take a look now to get us all in the mood, get us all excited. So the latest trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah! I have to advance it once more.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we leave them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
But I'm through. Long have I waited. And now you're coming together. Is your undoing. What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny. The Force will be with you.
Always.
Gotta say, guys, I'm so pumped.
Rise of Skywalker! Yeah! We were saying, we have seen that trailer probably over 50 times. I still get goosebumps. Like the music, the imagery.
It's almost more overwhelming to watch it over my shoulder.
I know, exactly. I was thinking that. Even with like a crick in my neck, it's still super
That
inspiring.
might be my favorite cinematics. For the second half of
Yeah.
that, just in terms of just take on the original
Imagery,
product.
yeah. Brings it all full circle. So we are excited. Obviously, we are in the season of Triple Force Friday. So we're going to share some images here now of our team on Triple Force Friday. We're fans too. This was us going out to the stores on Triple Force Friday, checking out the merchandise. We just wanted to share this with you to show you how excited we were too.
Looking good, guys.
Yeah, you can see Sam and I up there, looking really excited. So,
Looking tired.
yeah,
Right.
Triple Force Friday a month ago kicked off all the merchandise for Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and Jedi Fallen Order. More properties than we've ever done before in a launch season. Triple Force Friday kicked off on GMA and through our live stream. If you haven't checked this out, it's on the Star Wars YouTube page. Really cool, has all the new product. You can see some of it here, and we're going to talk about it later in the panel. And then the excitement continued through our desk sides. Again, you can see a lot of the product that was revealed here. Black Series, kid-focused items, just a lot of great stuff. And some of those kid-focused items, Sam is going to talk to us about.
Yeah, so I think in our humble opinion, the one that sort of stole the show probably has to be our Ultimate Dio,
Absolutely.
which I'm pretty sure Daisley Ridley referred to as an engineering marvel.
Yep.
So our team at Hasbro was pretty happy with that one.
Our engineer, when he heard that, he swooned a little bit. I think his resume is basically now just that line and nothing else.
I think he put Daisy as a
reference, yeah. Awesome, cool. Do we want to take a look at the
you wanna
commercial? Yeah.
pull up.
Sounds good. All right, here we go.
Featured in the upcoming Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Say hello to Ultimate Dio. Controllable via smart device. Responsive to voice and sounds. And a big fan of playing ball. Ultimate Dio. Just the droid you're looking for. Not required. Ask a parent. Smart device and batteries not included.
So it's an awesome droid form. Again, it really is an engineering marvel.
He's brilliant. And we've actually got him on the stand here in the UK, so if you want to come and try him out, you can
play with him.
come and have a play. For sure.
Self-balancing monowheel. Again, you have that full emotion in terms of the emoting antennas, which I think end up being my favorite part for the character. But to really just sort of see him come to life on stage or in your home is awesome.
I suppose the other question is, Ultimate is amazing. Is that the only place the Dio's appearing in the line?
We have Dio actually in a couple of other places. So in terms of kind of unique
Very
character,
convenient. It's almost as though we planned this.
we have kind of our Spark and Go Dio as well as our RC Dio. I think the RC Dio is also can be played, and then we have them infused throughout our Black Series line.
Fantastic. Alrighty. Should we take a look at another product?
Let's take a look at another product.
Sounds good.
I think this one's more to the lighter side.
Yeah, I think so. A little more lighthearted. Let's take a look.
A Star Wars lightsaber like no other, for a very different kind of battle. Record your own sounds. In the fight for the funniest, choose from 10 different Star Wars sounds. Or just go for something different. Unleash your scream with the Star Wars Screensaver lightsaber, each sold separately.
So a very fun, different way of being able to experience a lightsaber, but we know that we do a lot of die-hard product, definitely for the Star Wars fan community, but it's nice to be able to do something, because it is so pop culture relevant, to do something that's a little bit more shareable and fun to play with. Have fun with Star Wars.
Absolutely. I will say, obviously a more kid-focused item, but fans have had fun with it too. I recorded my Emperor impression, so be it, Jedi, and actually convinced one of our engineers that it was a secret Easter egg that someone had put in the item, so that was a proud moment. Okay, so those were some of our cooler kid-focused items, but we also revealed Vintage and Black Series items for Triple Force Friday, and these are some of those items. So Vintage Collection is obviously one of our favorite lines. Fan-focused, that classic 3 3/4 inch scale, super articulated, highly decoed with soft goods. This is our first wave. This is in stores right now, revealed for Triple Force Friday a month ago. This is half of the wave. 3 great items here. The Knight of Ren, obviously we've kind of heard about the Knights of Ren for the past 4 years. Hopefully we'll get a better glimpse at them in this film, but the first time they've been in either of our lines, they appeared in the Vintage Collection first. We had a lot of fun kind of deciding on which figure would be in here. Also, you can see up here all of these film outs, obviously, we don't have film notes yet because the movie hasn't come out yet. So all of these are actually composites of set photos and the characters. So we had to be really creative and collaborative with Lucasfilm in order to get cardbacks for these. So this, as you're seeing right here, is the other half of our launch wave that is in stores right now. Two of these items have appeared earlier. So the Luke Skywalker is that item you saw in that convention exclusive that you can win a signed copy by Sam today. Woo! Woo!
Doing a lot of signing.
Absolutely. We're going to keep you busy. The Poe Dameron was actually revealed almost a year ago at Lucca on this tour in Italy. Since that time, as we learned more about the film, we learned that he has an updated helmet for Episode 9. We were actually able to update that, and as you see, put it on an Episode 9 cardback. So really excited to have that in the line. And then, of course, the vintage world is all about world building. So Sam, can you tell us about the vehicles?
Yeah, we, again, sort of aligning with Triple Force Friday, we had a lot of great entertainment to be able to support, and we wanted to be able to do that because we have the world building through the vintage collection. So we had some familiar forms, which are going to be like the T-65 X-Wing. For the first time ever, we have it in the vintage collection as being Luke Skywalker's Red 5. We have an all-new look to the ATST as part of the Mandalorian by way of the ATST Raider, which actually comes with a partial new figure of this Klatooian kind of Raider, which is a great assembly of new parts and classic ones to really be able to deliver that great new form. And then lastly, all new tooling, again, designed specifically for the vintage collection, was our new T-70 X-Wing. So
It looks unreal. So, new features on that one? Like, what?
Yeah, so again, especially as we've started developing vehicles directly for the vintage collection, it's really about kind of going beyond just sort of being able to deliver the form. So it's a new size, and just is featured with accessories that are going to be relevant to the vintage consumer. So you have fully retractable landing gear that folds up and closes up with doors that close over them, as well as a ladder that can stow underneath, and removable panels kind of revealing the inner workings of the T-70.
Sounds awesome.
Fantastic. Alrighty. And then we revealed these at New York Comic Con a few weeks ago, our Wave 2.
Yeah, so we have a couple new figures that are coming in, really sort of seeing their debut on the vintage cardback. First up is going to be the Jawa. Again, hasn't seen a vintage cardback since the original 1977 Kenner figures. So we're really excited to get this back out onto the card. This was a figure we did on Black Series 3 3/4 inch line, but it's a great, great visual representation of the Jawa itself. Yeah. Next up is going to be, I think, my personal favorite of the wave, which is going to be the Imperial Shadow Squadron. The Shadow Squadron troopers have been around for a while, both in terms of expanded universe, and they've started reutilizing them in some of the video games. So it's great to see this form come back around. We're able to use our Rogue One Stormtrooper, but then infuse a number of new accessories, including a new officer's pauldron, ammo pouches, and really being able to build out the armory with some new weapons.
Does it present many challenges working off of a video game instead of movie, or?
It actually works a lot like it does with Lucasfilm. We sort of have that partnership that expands to video game creators. So in terms of working with like Respawn or with EA, we're able to work in a very similar fashion. And again, Lucasfilm sort of acts as that conduit to bring that collaboration together. Yeah. Oh, all right. So next up was an all-new figure that we revealed in New York. This is going to be the Sith Trooper. So much like the Trooper that we saw revealed for San Diego Comic-Con, this is the form for the vintage collection. So again, borrowing that great new design aesthetic and really being able to bring that bright red Trooper, and then seeing that Rise of Skywalker figure sort of composite to build out that great card back.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so now getting into the Black Series. So our other favorite fan-focused expressions. So newer. I know, amazing. Love them. They look great. They all look great. Black Series launched 6 years ago now. Every year, it's another year. It's amazing how that works. 6-inch scale allows for kind of more of that character detail, still super articulated, highly decoed, more modern packaging, and obviously, just like the vintage collection, had a very robust line at launch. So up here you're seeing our launch wave, again, currently available in stores. some great figures there from all across the Triple Force Friday properties. So you can see Cal and the Second Sister Inquisitor from Jedi Fallen Order. You can see the Mandalorian himself and the off-world Jawa from the Mandalorian, and then 4 great figures from Star Wars Episode 9. So a great Triple Force Friday launch wave. And what was really special is we had this limited edition, first edition white packaging that we did for just the first wave.
So what? What was the reason for the white packaging?
That's a great question, which I've heard from some fans. So basically the idea here, we know Star Wars is all about kind of these story arcs and like hearkening back to the beginning. And obviously in this season of the end of the Skywalker saga, where you saw the trailer there, like lots of echoes back to the beginning, we wanted to go to the beginning of our Black Series line for New Entertainment. Our very first Black Series figure we launched for New Entertainment was our global convention exclusive in 2015, early release of the First Order Stormtrooper in white packaging. So to celebrate that, we wanted to put this launch wave all in similar white packaging to celebrate that kind of returning back to the beginning. And obviously it allows some great kind of graphical treatments.
Yeah, I personally love what it did to the package. I actually, in some cases, found the illustrations so much stronger on white because you always utilize the black background to sort of act as that shadow point.
A nice contrast,
so to be able to bring that onto the white, some representation.
So good, maybe it'll be the white.
I didn't have to get
for it. No, it won't be. So that's that white packaging. We also had these great, very limited edition. They might not still be in stores. I don't know. It's been a month.
Have to go on the hunt for them, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. But this was our carbonized collection. So again, took 4 figures out of those Triple Force properties and put them in this carbonized form. So
what makes it carbonized?
What's special about these? Exactly. Well, the packaging obviously has that metallic treatment, so you have very different packaging. And in the case of the First Order Jet Trooper, there's actually a different substrate. It's not the same cardboard with the treatment. It's actually a different physical material that you need to get that carbonized effect. The product itself is very different as well, right, Sam?
That's correct. So kind of different from anything that we do. A lot of, Black Series, anything we do from a figure standpoint, they're definitely molded to be able to utilize the base colors that the figures are done in, and then we add paint operations over that for weathering and effects like that. For the carbonized collection, every single paint operation on these armored characters is painted. So there is no mold color that's revealed, so everything in terms of the armor joints. I think one of my favorites is probably the Sith Trooper, where we actually molded the figure in silver and then actually painted it in a translucent red metallic, so you get kind of a candied apple effect.
Wow.
And you have that black 7C metallic for the undersuit, so it's impressive.
I love black 7C. That's my favorite deco treatment. That's awesome. So we're really excited about this collection. Again, if you like the looks of them, see if they're still in stores. So moving on, again, revealed at New York Comic Con just a few weeks ago, our Wave 2.
So for Wave 2, and I'll double check who's up there.
Jaina.
We have Cara Dean and Jaina. So again, great way to balance out sort of the New Entertainment. Jaina is such an awesome figure because as we, received a reference, it was like, all right, which one's her signature weapon? And they're like, oh no, they're all signature weapons. So it's like, okay, so we'll do them all. So she has, a bow, which we haven't really seen utilized in kind of this live action entertainment, which was awesome. Her quiver is actually repurposed from a Stormtrooper forearm armor. So as part of the entertainment, so it was great to be able to add that with the removable arrows from the quiver, can be loaded into the bow itself. And of course she has her holsterable side pistol and kind of this translucent cape to the figure. So great new form, really excited. And I think Naomi Aki was here yesterday.
Yeah.
Got to check it out.
Got to take pictures next to the figure.
So next up we have Cara Dean. Again, awesome new companion for the Mandalorian series. Really, really happy with how we were able to take advantage of that Jaina portrait with the photoreal. And of course she has her heavy duty rifle, holsterable pistol, and then she actually has a knife that can unsheath from the boot for more of that close combat melee.
Absolutely.
All right, and next up is going to be the First Order Jet Trooper. This one was awesome when we saw the concept art for it because this is the first time from a theatrical standpoint that we've really seen these troopers intentionally going airborne. So, we've seen it through Rebels, we've seen it in Clone Wars, it definitely with things in terms of the Mandalorians as well, but to actually get a trooper strapped to a rocket, it's an awesome pack, and again, some great new trooper variation for the line.
Absolutely. And finally,
ooh, Wedge Antilles. So did anyone in here vote for Wedge as part of the 40th?
Yeah, a few bands.
A few there. So Wedge actually rose to the top. I think he ended up being our second choice, most requested character for Empire Strikes Back. Unfortunately, he did lose to Luke Dagobah, but thankfully we had an Ep4 version of him kind of already planned for the line, so it was kind of a happy accident. We're always a fan of those. And it's, again, a great way to get some of these alternate Rebel pilots into the line.
Absolutely. Alrighty, and then our role play item.
Role play. So this is our new Force Effects Elite lightsaber. It's based on Kylo Ren's lightsaber form for the Rise of Skywalker, and Elite is something unlike we've ever done before.
Yeah, I mean we've got one of these on stand. If you come by the stand, you can have a go, get some great pictures with it. But I suppose the main question, so Elite, what makes it Elite?
Yeah, so when we introduced kind of our Force Effects, our signature series lightsabers years ago, it's sort of just been changing up the hilts, and at one point we did removable blades, but what we set out to do with Elite was really redefine the technology that's inside of these sabers. So not only does it come out swinging with an accelerometer, but now they actually utilize a fully addressable LED blade. So each LED is individually programmable along the blade. So not only do you get super smooth sweeps and kind of blade progressions to the ignition, but you also can, for Kylo, we actually get this great crackling effect happening throughout the blade. And when you strike it, actually the whole blade flashes white. And then my favorite feature is not only can you have blast effects appear along the blade, but if you we have a secondary button, so you can drag it along the floor, do wall strikes, and the whole end of the blade actually changes to molten white. And you have sort of this heat billowing off of it. So it's really impressive. The addressable LEDs, we have fully removable blades, we have barrel plugs that go back in, and then we have this all new metal infused stand to really be able to show it off with and without blades.
And like I said, it's unreal. I've probably spent too much time with it on the stand, if I'm being honest, but I definitely recommend coming down and having a go, for sure.
Certainly sounds elite.
Very elite.
Awesome. So we are basically working through time here. We started off with our Triple Force Friday reveals. Then we talked about our later 2019 items that we revealed at New York Comic Con. The items we're going to show here, we literally revealed less than 24 hours ago. We were in Paris yesterday at Paris Comic Con, which is also great. And literally after we did a panel, did some reveals, hopped on the channel, hopped on a tube, ended up in our hotel, woke up this morning and we're here. But we revealed these items yesterday, starting with a new item in the vintage collection. It was that wonderful Cara Dean that we saw in the Black Series. So this was just revealed yesterday. Our very first figure that we've ever shown in the vintage collection from The Mandalorian, which we're all really excited about. A lot of Mandalorian excitement. Similar kind of design that Sam talked about, based on that Gina Carano portrait, with all that great kind of armory of accessories and weapons. So we revealed this, and then we showed it in the booth at Paris Comic Con, but we had to leave an hour later. So this is...
Did you bring it with you?
We brought it with us, exactly. We didn't leave it in Paris. It is in the booth right now, so if you want to head to our booth, you can check out this figure. And again, other than a few people for an hour in Paris, you'll be the first person to see this figure. So we're really excited about that. We also had some great Black Series reveals, didn't we, Sam?
We're really... definitely as we sort of get into the reveals, we have a few more, especially as we get into next week as well. One of the big areas that we've found our line to really be limited for the Black Series is in support of the prequel trilogy. So we definitely want to bolster a few new items to do that, but we need more of our Jedi heroes in the line to be able to do that. So yesterday, first step that we revealed was Ep2 Anakin. So this is a great new addition to the line. It's a new portrait, new forearm, new hand, because again, he hasn't had that arm chopped off by Darth Tyrannus yet. And we're able to deliver that with his lightsaber as it appears in episode 2. So it's great to get that Padawan representation of the character. And then of course he's gonna need a master to
mentor to kind of help him and guard him from trouble, yeah.
Some guidance, lose him along the way, which is gonna be our Ep2 Obi-Wan Kenobi. I actually think this is the best representation of the Ewan McGregor portrait that we've been able to do. There's variations to the outfit in terms of definitely the coloring and the effect there, but portrait, the separate hair, and really being able to take advantage of the photoreal. Excited to have this on the line.
Absolutely. Have we? I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to pitch it up to you, Sam. Have we seen Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Black Series before?
You have, Patrick.
I have.
Great question. Obi-Wan's been in a couple different iterations just because he's sort of carried throughout the trilogy. So his first release was as the episode 3, Anakin. Or did I start with Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan, yeah.
So Obi-Wan is first place in line.
Obi-Wan would be very offended if you
also
get them
episode
confused.
3, so I saved it there. But we had an episode 4 release. We had our episode 1.
We had a Force Spirit. Yeah.
We had the Force Ghost, and we had our Clone Commander, Obi-Wan. So he's been a lot of places in the line.
Anakin we've been a little more shy about.
Anakin, we just have our episode 3.
Until now.
Until now.
Yeah. Righting the wrongs. Yeah, there we go. Different entertainment property.
Fair enough.
These two items are not down in the sand. Basically, we wanted to reveal some items. These aren't going to be out until 2020. We wanted to give everyone here kind of very early looks. So these are basically so early in the process, we don't have them to see. But again, we've got that great Cara Dean, so come check that out. So those were our fan-focused items in Paris. And as Sam mentioned, kind of the prequels are getting a lot more love now. Like, I love the prequels there. And again, I think it's appropriate in this era of kind of the end of the Skywalker saga. The prequels kicked it off. We've got some gaps there, so we're filling those in. So today we don't have any prequel figures to reveal, but in the next week on our EU convention tour, we will reveal 4 more Black Series prequel characters. So if you love Black Series, if you love the prequels, and I know you do, check us out over the next week because we'll be revealing more prequel Black Series. All right, we've shown you a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool 2019 stuff, a lot of cool 2020 stuff. Who wants to see some stuff that no one in the world has ever seen before? We might end this presentation right now. Who wants to see some stuff that no one's ever seen before? Yeah! All righty.
House lights up on that.
There we go. These are our exclusive reveals to London Comic-Con. We've done reveals here at London the past 2 years, but we are doing more this year than we've ever done before. We have 2 kid-focused items to reveal and 3 fan items. We're very excited, so we're going to start with the kid-focused items, just because we've got to build up the excitement. I think we have a splash page here. Hopefully we do. Yes, the Mandalorian. So, we will reveal a fan Mandalorian item later. But we also know that kids are going to love The Mandalorian as well. We are excited to see The Mandalorian excitement building. We're excited that Disney Plus is going to be coming to Europe next year. There's a lot of buzz. It launches in a couple weeks. There have been a lot of media kind of articles on it lately. We're really excited. It looks awesome. So for all of those kids out there that love The Mandalorian, they're going to want to role play as The Mandalorian. So our first exclusive reveal today is a kid Mandalorian mask. No one in the world has seen this before. This is for all those kids out there that want to role play as the Mandalorian, run around pretending they're that great character.
I've seen you do this in the office.
Absolutely, yeah. Put this mask on and run around.
The kids alone.
It's for the kids and the fans out there. So, great item in our basic mask assortment. Kind of brings those movie-accurate details to life. Now, if you're a kid, or apparently a Patrick Schneider, role-playing as a Mandalorian with this mask, in addition to this mask, you also need our next reveal, our Mandalorian Gauntlet. So this is our second kid item we're revealing today, never seen before. Goes along with that mask, a great movie-accurate gauntlet. As you can see, incorporates our Nerf darts, Nerf firing darts. So a great kid line for our kids to role play out next year.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Alrighty. So those 2 items were great, but
On to the fan.
on to the fan items. So first, the Black Series. Very excited.
Very excited. I think we have some silhouettes to reveal, but
we do.
from an entertainment standpoint, you know, we've shown a lot in terms of Rise of Skywalker, but there's still more. It's a whole movie, and we Still have plenty of characters left to do. We saw some stuff that was sort of exclusive to the vintage at launch, and there's certainly a bit more that we want to be able to do there. So
we have some good figures in the line already. We showed obviously Rey, Kylo, Miyaki, Janna, but you're right. We got some more figures we need to reveal. So should we show the silhouette?
Let's show that silhouette.
Right. Who do we think this is?
Who that might be?
Any thoughts?
Any guesses?
Knights of Ren.
Ooh.
Should we reveal it?
All right.
All right.
Fair enough. So this is going to be the first Knight of Ren character for the Black Series 6-inch line. Again, we really wanted to, we have quite a few of them to do, so we wanted to just diversify between kind of the figures that we pilot and introduce into the vintage collection, as well as the ones that we look to bring into the Black Series. So
was there a way you picked which one, or is it an eeny, meeny, miny, mo kind of moment? Or?
I mean, we kind of went with our coolest looking ones. I mean, this kind of literally is like a grenade for a face. So it's an awesome form. Has some great accessories in terms of seeing like that vibro side in terms of a melee weapon, but then also having this great sidearm with a kind of a heavy duty blaster.
And we always have discussions about balancing out, obviously, the kind of coolest main characters we want in both the Black Series and Vintage, but for the Knights of Ren, we wanted to get multiple different characters out there, so that kind of drove that decision. Some more looks there at the item. All right. You want to tee up our next reveal?
I do.
You want the silhouette?
I'm really excited for this next one. So, as we hop to the silhouette, and there's some few more giveaways on this one.
Not a lot of mystery.
We can probably go ahead and show.
All right. Who's excited for Zori Bliss?
All right. So Patrick's.
I like this guy up here. He's applauding with me.
Zori Bliss, in terms of her Black Series reveal, we know sort of this is going to be portrayed by Kerry Russell, so we're really excited about seeing kind of how she'd be brought into the Star Wars universe. The figure itself is awesome. She has her dual-wielding pistols, her substantial new helmet, because we really don't know what's going to be under there from a portrait standpoint. Is she Twi'leks? Is she hiding some, ultra headpiece within that? But the figure itself is just sort of a beautiful representation of the character. Great variations to the armor and the outfit, and of course the posability of this figure is fantastic.
Absolutely, great. So that rounds out our episode 9 figures in the Black Series. That's all we have planned for this year. We'll see if any more come in the future, but I think we've got a look here at the full line. Yeah, some great figures in there. It's a good assortment, yeah, absolutely.
But you did say there were 3 fan.
Absolutely, there are 3 fan reveals.
Count 2.
So 2 from the Black Series. Our final reveal for the day that no one's ever seen before comes from the Vintage collection. So again, we'll show this splash page. So Vintage fans out there, we know. We get it. We launched some cool Mandalorian items in the Black Series, and Vintage fans were reasonably saying, like, where's ours? Where's our Mandalorian items? Well, as you saw, yesterday in Paris, we revealed Cara Dean from The Mandalorian. We've got one more after today, at least one more, but for today, we kind of threw people for a loop yesterday, right? We showed this slide and everyone was like, well, obviously it's gonna be The Mandalorian. And
until you made the caveat, it's not The Mandalorian.
I know, I think I specifically said that. It wasn't The Mandalorian yesterday, today it is The Mandalorian. Let's hear it for The Mandalorian! Thanks, it was more than just that guy playing along that time. So The Mandalorian finally coming to the Vintage collection. It'll be out next year in 2020. So obviously based on that Pedro Pascal portrait, which will be fantastic. You can see up there all the accessories.
So on the accessories there, a pretty familiar looking rifle.
Absolutely. So eagle-eyed fans out there will know that that rifle is based on the rifle from the holiday special. So one thing we really love that we're seeing in The Mandalorian is Jon Favreau is a huge fan, and he's really kind of going back to a lot of very kind of classic references for The Mandalorian. So it comes with that rifle, comes with a cloak, pistol. Anything else about the item, Sam?
I think the biggest thing is definitely as we're able to strive to bring newness to the Vintage collection. We're always looking to make these as close as we can from detail standpoint, but also really try to push the envelope in terms of the articulation. So we're doing a lot more in terms of the neck and really take into consideration kind of what the intended posability of this. So this bar is a lot of the same learnings that we had with our Rogue One Stormtrooper. We're able to sort of bring this to a Mandalorian form. So if it's something you guys are a fan of, we're certainly looking to keep doing it more in the future.
Absolutely. And again, we will have at least one more vintage Mandalorian reveal in the next week that we're really excited about.
My eyes peeled.
Absolutely. So, this is basically our lineup of Mandalorian vintage items. You can see Cara Dune and the Mandalorian there together for the first time. A happy couple. Okay, we're moving on next to some business items. So these are not reveals. So we wanted to show this to you guys. We know in talking with the fans here in Europe, we know from being here at conventions that distribution can be a challenge. It can be a challenge to get, I'm seeing some kind of like, nods in the crowd, like, yeah. It can be a challenge to get the items that you want so much. We've heard this. One of the things we've done as a company, you may have noticed, is we've moved to a new packaging. It's what we call 5-language packaging. Basically, in the past, our EU packaging has had 4 languages on it. Our North America packaging had 4 languages. There was only 1 language different, and someone finally realized at Hasbro, why don't we just add that language, and then the same packaging can literally go global. What this means is that we can get more products to the EU. We don't have to hit a separate minimum order quantity to get products here. So this is an effort we made in order to get product here, and hopefully you've seen that this fall a little bit, and we'll continue to make those efforts in the future, which is really great.
I think it's a great move. It's going to make certainly our lives in the UK much easier, and definitely improve what we can offer for sure.
It's fantastic. A couple other business items. So at New York Comic Con, we revealed a vintage item, Leia. We said that it was VC number 150. And then some Eagle Eye...
Sure about that?
I know, I always have to think about it. We said it was 150, and then some Eagle Eye fans saw that it came out, a few pieces came out as VC 164. So we just want to set the record straight. Those few pieces of Leia out as VC 164, those were not intentional, but those are out in the market, so those will be cool variants. Leia is VC 150, and the Cara Dune that we revealed in Paris is VC 164. So those are the official VC numbers. Every vintage collection number will be accounted for because we know that's important. And those Leias that are out there as VC 164 will just be special, and you can have them as additions in your collection, which is great. And one other question that came about, you can see up here the special action figure set. Some eagle-eyed fans have noticed that it's obviously an Empire Strikes Back themed set. With Luke, Yoda, and Darth Vader, but it's in that classic double bars. Basically, we should have mentioned this when we revealed it, but as we went back to the ranch at Hasbro, we discussed it. When we had been designing this item, we always look back to precedent for the vintage collection. And in the vintage collection for special action figure sets, they've been done in both ways. They've been done episodic specific, and then there are also kind of Ep5 and Ep6 items that have been done in that double bar style. So we had a discussion, and there was no kind of clear precedent to draw from. Since we are moving to the 5-language packaging, you can see that translation up there, we wanted to keep the logo clean, just as Star Wars, without an Empire Strikes Back. So that will be our new vintage collection principle moving forward. All special action figure sets will adhere to that earlier principle and will be on the classic New Hope Star Wars double bars. So we always like to clear up questions. There's great questions. So if you have any questions about the items we revealed today, let us know, and maybe we'll clarify them on our next panel. On that topic, our last business item, next panel. So again, we've awoken to the fact that we've got great fans in Europe. We should have realized it sooner. We've realized it now. We've been coming to London Comic Con the past, this is our 3rd year now. And our tour continues next week with more reveals. So follow us. We'll be in 6 days in Italy, in Lucca. The day after that, we'll be in Barcelona, in Spain. And then later in December, we'll be at Comic-Con Dortmund in Germany. Again, we'll be revealing a similar number of items as we did here. More vintage Mandalorian, more Black Series prequels, and more. So tune into those conventions if you want to see what's coming out. And with that, we have timed this perfectly. We have 15 minutes for Q&A. So again, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what questions you have. Don't feel like any question is too tough. We're ready for them, about the business side, about product, about what product you want to see. So we've got 2 microphones on either side. Feel free to queue up there, and we're happy to answer whatever questions you have. I think there's microphones over there if you want to queue up.
Microphones in the aisles, then you can...
So that everyone can hear the question. Yes, over there. And I think maybe we'll just go back and forth to each microphone. So yes, let's start over there.
Are there any plans of re-releasing all of the old clones? Because the mold's kind of broken because all of the Commander Wolves kind of fall apart on the arm.
This is in the Black Series or in the Vintage Collection?
The Black Series one. And also they're all the wrong color because he like swapped from matte to gloss, and now the old ones don't really fit with the new ones. Now all the Codys don't work because the only trooper for Cody is gloss, but he's matte, and so it looks ugly.
I'm sorry. I'll answer the first part. I'll let Sam field the part about them being ugly. So, absolutely. So, as you may know, we have a Black Series archive line, and we launched that this year, and that was specifically to answer that question. Fans would come up to us in the past and then say, hey, that Boba, I started collecting the Black Series in 2015. That Boba Fett you launched in 2013, I want. How can we, it's selling for $200 in the aftermarket. How can we solve that? And so we launched the Black Series archive as a way to get those key characters back out there, and also for the fans who already have them to apply new technology like photoreal deco. So those items that you mentioned, we can't say anything that we haven't revealed yet, but some of those could be great candidates for the archive line. And then Sam, do you want to speak to the ugly part?
Yeah, sorry, they're ugly. No, the big thing that we're definitely looking to do in terms of both Black Series and Vintage Collection is definitely to establish the levels of consistency. In terms of the clones, like we've had clones in the figure line since I think the original orange packaging,
the beginning,
number 14. So in terms of where we're looking to bring new clones in terms of new forms, new troopers, new designations, absolutely there's going to be more opportunity to bring newness. I think we have some potential return of some Clone Wars animation coming with Disney Plus, so there's certainly going to be opportunity to get more newness into the line. In terms of really sort of reestablishing that level of consistency, that's definitely something that we're also looking to strive towards. And again, finding new opportunities to, whether it be through archive or through the exclusives program, re-releasing characters or getting really just new troopers out there entirely.
And I should say, in addition to the Black Series archive for the Vintage Collection, obviously we can't do a different packaging style, but this year, this was actually a request from the UK team, because they heard it from the fans. We added 2 waves in our Vintage Collection this year that basically serve the same purpose as the archive, getting those main characters from the past back out there. So you can see that in both lines. Thank you. Great.
There's a question about 2018 San Diego Comic-Con. You kind of informally announced the Clone Wars wave, and I was wondering if there was any more word on that was all, because me and some other people, internet, want characters like, Asajj Ventress, like Clone Wars Ahsoka, a few different more clone troopers.
What did you promise?
Well, it wasn't a promise.
You weren't at San Diego in 2018, were you?
No, I wasn't.
All right. I'm pretty sure Alex was. This one's on me. I don't recall that specific claim. I think maybe the question was, the Clone Wars is coming back. Will we see more Clone Wars figures in the future?
Yeah, it was a bit like that.
Yeah, and I think it was general. That still holds. We are excited for the Clone Wars. Obviously, this year, we wanted to focus. We have too much entertainment this year. We've got Episode 9, The Mandalorian, Jedi Fallen Order. With Clone Wars coming back next year, that statement still holds. We will absolutely be having more Clone Wars characters in the line next year. So stay tuned for, maybe not the EU conventions, but stay tuned to future conventions for those reveals, and you will be happy.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely.
You're our lads.
Hey.
Welcome to London.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I like the drink there. That's nice.
That's what Comic-Con's about. I just wanted to ask, obviously everyone's buzzing for episode 9. When are we going to get that spicy Papa Pals figure?
The spicy...
Spicy who?
Papa Pals, Palpatine.
Oh, Papa Pals. Oh, the F9 Palpatine. So we always say, we can't reveal anything that we haven't revealed yet. This being said, we're excited to see Episode 9. Like, we're excited to see... Obviously, we don't have an Episode 9 Palpatine in the line right now. We've always said there are some assets that we get 12 to 18 months in advance and can develop figures for. There are other figures like Ep7 Luke Skywalker that we saw at the same time that all of you did. So we're excited to see Episode 9, and if that Palpatine is indeed as spicy as you think he might be, maybe we'll see him in the line in the future.
Nice. Thanks.
Have a great time. Ooh. Loving the cosplay.
Love it.
Quick question with regards to going back to the last panel that you did with the reveals as well. I want to say really good reveals, and currently now with the carbonized line. Hopefully we see more carbonized line because I thought they were absolutely fantastic.
Great.
Love them, but please. Can we include stands in the figures? Because the stands at the moment have been so really inconsistent.
Yeah.
You have it with the Luke Skywalker with
The exclusives, yeah.
Luke Skywalker with the Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
That was brilliant, but more stands.
Okay.
Really, we need it because some of them are so top heavy and they just don't really display very well. But if you could think about maybe slipping some stands in, that would be a massive help for collectors.
Yeah, so with the carbonized collection, that again was we thought it was cool. We wanted to see what you guys thought. The response has been overwhelming, so we might see more carbonized in the future. I don't know, do you have any thoughts on the stands?
Yeah, so for the stands itself, again, it definitely has been inconsistent in terms of where it's gotten out there. We've really used it as an element for some of our retail exclusives. So we had like the kind of the clone or Rebels inspired Rocket Trooper. We had the Trash Compactor Luke. We had Clone Commander Obi-Wan, and I think more recently it's coming out with the Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. So absolutely, if feedback's heard, it's definitely something we've been hearing in terms of looking to get more of that into the line, and we're certainly keep that in mind going forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hi guys.
Hey.
New reveals look great, by the way.
Thank you.
With regard to the Black Series General Grievous that had a reference point of D1 on it, I wondered what the decision-making process was not to have Emperor Palpatine with his chair as a deluxe, and basically what the terms of reference are for those deluxe figures in the Black Series range.
Yeah.
So in terms of getting newness into deluxe, we definitely saw it as a great opportunity to bring all new figures into the line itself. And as we did a character like the Emperor, we didn't see just doing partial updates to the figure, throwing it in a bigger box and being like, now it's a deluxe figure. We really want to utilize that new form of tracking the figures themselves as a way of getting brand newness into the line. But Palpatine, the reason he came up is because he was looking like such a great candidate for the archive. But I think
I asked Sam, I was like, Palpatine, can we get him into the archive? And Sam
I
was
said
like,
no. So it was both for Palpatine as well as for Return of the Jedi Luke, where it's like, we understand there's a desire to have those figures in the line, but we didn't want to put out subpar versions of them. We really wanted to get them back out and really do those figures justice. So getting the Emperor back out there as way of an exclusive, that item really was only able to happen because we were able to partner with someone like Amazon for that. And being able to go to a larger box, go to a larger price point that really is able to adapt and take into consideration all the newness that we were bringing in there in terms of the throne, having the 3 swappable portraits, the lightning hands, and of course going to the new soft goods. It probably would have priced out at the deluxe price point because we're really trying to keep that about kind of retaining that,
$30, yeah.
$30 price point. But absolutely, I think in terms of you'll see more from the deluxe line, and hopefully, I think everyone will be really happy with what we have planned.
And a little more. So we've had far too many conversations about the collector numbers, but we know they're important. Early on, we decided not to number the retail exclusives because in some cases they're kind of slight variants. We know that they can be difficult to get. So for the completionists out there, we didn't want to number those and then have that be kind of a huge pain point. And as a result, someone similar like Emperor Palpatine, since he already existed in the line and we were just updating him, we didn't want to put him into the main line because then he would be numbered and some people might feel like they have to get him. Instead, as an exclusive, he's out there for the ones who want them. He's not numbered so you don't feel like you have to get him, but if you want that update, you can. But we will certainly be continuing the deluxe line with D2, D3, etc.
Great, thanks guys.
Absolutely, thank you.
Hi guys, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Have you got any updates on the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back?
We're excited for it. I'm still excited for it. So basically, again, we've got so much going on this fall. with Episode 9, Mandalorian Jedi Fallen Order, that we didn't want to talk too much about Empire Strikes Back yet. We know that we had a great 40th anniversary program for A New Hope 2 years ago. Kind of great assortment there with the 6-inch figures on card backs. We're definitely going to do something for the 40th anniversary. We already know about the Fans' Choice Luke Dagobah. That'll be in our Black Series line. We know about the Boba Fett helmet that we revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. Hyperreal Luke Skywalker we revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. Nothing more to reveal today, but we're definitely excited about that, and there will be a lot in the line.
I'm just like a big fan of the carbonized.
Absolutely, that's great to hear. I think we probably have time for 2 more. Yeah? Okay, great.
Oh, hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good. I love the vintage collection.
Absolutely, we'd love to hear it.
I wonder when it would finish, because it's costing me a fortune. My wife wants to spare room back.
I don't know if we can help with that. I don't know. Sorry, so the question is,
will you want us to finish?
Is it just going to continue?
I mean, the great thing about Star Wars is just, we've had over 40 plus years of entertainment to really be able to lean on that. And of course, with the continuation of new entertainment, there's certainly no plan to end that line anytime soon. So apologies to you and your wife. But I think, there's still a lot we have to do, from classic, from prequels, from realistic interpretations of animated characters, and then of course support of everything that we're seeing for the new entertainment.
I think there was a rumor about a month ago that the vintage collection was ending. Maybe that's what you're referring to. We spoke on this at New York Comic Con. The rumor was not started by Jedi Temple Archives, I should say that. To set the record straight, it was not started by them. But no, there are no plans to end the vintage collection. That is categorically untrue. We have it planned in the line for years to come. We're excited about the future. So again, apologies to your wife.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. And I think time for one last question.
Hi there.
Hey.
I would love to know a bit more about your job. So what part of the product design would you be responsible for?
Absolutely, Sam's the designer, so he can speak to the design aspect.
All right, is that clock accurate? I have 2 minutes?
We just have 2 minutes.
The abridged version.
He could go for hours.
So, design on Star Wars, it's definitely my dream job in terms of, this was like the biggest property for me as a kid in terms of really what I would say influenced my love of toy and probably the career path that I ultimately went down. But it's, in terms of it, it's a very creative collaboration. It's working really closely with our partners at Lucasfilm, the story teams, with archives, movie sets, and we're able to, what we really strive to deliver on Star Wars, which I think is different from any other brand, is that level of authenticity and detail. It's every outfit has so much care that goes into the texturing and the colors and very physical elements that they bring, and we try to replicate that as much as we can between our action figures, between our premium role-play products, in sort of delivering those theatrical experiences with things like our Force Effects lightsabers. So I definitely am blessed with being able to work on quite a diverse library of products, but it's certainly a dream come true. Do you want me to?
I think we got to cut off. Thank you. That was a great question, and we will say we're getting cut off now. We're getting the cut off signs, but we are going to continue this Q&A down in the booth. So if you want to know more about Sam's job, or if by any chance you want to know about Alex or I's job on the business side, or if you have any other questions about the items we revealed or anything about the line, again, we always say we love talking with the fans. We want to hear the things you like about the line, the frustrations you have. So come on down to the booth, or come down to the booth for any of the other reasons we mentioned. We'll talk to you, we'll show you the product, it'll be a great time, but I think we got to end now.
I think that's it, so thank you so much guys, thank you for coming down, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you all.